Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. It's been 3 weeks since the last Flosstube and a busy 3 weeks here. I had a little road trip to Las Vegas to see a dear friend of mine and had my first post-vaccination hug, which was glorious. I'm not always a huge hugger, but oh man, that just felt really, really good. So it's been eventful. I also got to go to Stitcher's Paradise when I was in Las Vegas. It was my first time visiting that shop, and so I have quite a few things added to my stash. I won't show them all today because we've got lots to cover. But moving right along, I also have new releases, so those will be at the end. First thing, stitching in action, and the first one here is Acorns. This is stitched by Judy B, and this is actually a shop model at Judy's Stitchery Nook. If you are near Judy's and you want to go in and see that, it's on 40 count weeks beige fabric. I love the way it looks. The next one is the Moo the Merrier freebie from the Needlework Expo in the spring, and this is stitched by Molly S on 32 count stone gray Lugano. I really love the way she adjusted the silky threads to make the cow look sort of, I don't know, yellow beige. It reminds me of those Jersey cows. I think that's the right one. They're sort of that beautiful light fawn color and oh, just so pretty. So well done, Molly S. This is a gift for her grandniece who loves cows, so hopefully she will love this one. All right, moving right along to what I'm stitching. I'm continuing to work on the Blackbird Christmas Sal with Alba Stitcher. So thank you again, Amanda, for the great idea. I was slowed down a little bit because I managed to cut my finger while I was cooking and had to have it stitched up. So it's no problem, fully healed, but it did have about a week or so where I wasn't really able to hang on to the hoop as well. So just to remind everyone, this is the design that we're working on, and I have chosen to do it with none of the called for, but pretty much the same palette with one exception, but on a very dark green fabric. So you can see how that's coming out. I'm really happy. My borders meet, which is always wonderful. And one of the things I worked on while I was on the road is this beautiful little eyelet heart, which is probably hard to see, but I love the way that came out. And as I mentioned last time, instead of the purple in the original scheme, I substituted a very dark red. So that's coming out so nicely, and I'm hopeful I will get it finished this month, but maybe not, we'll see. Just going along, enjoying the process. So that's what I'm stitching. Now, on to Stash Spotlight. There's a bit of a stash flood as I've recently received some wholesale linen that I had ordered earlier in the year, which is always wonderful. And I went to Stitcher's Paradise and took full advantage. I'm not going to show it all this time because I don't want this to be, hey, look what I bought. But I am going to show a few of the charts that were new to me that I saw in Stitcher's Paradise. And I'm not going to show linen much this week because it's actually raining today and cloudy, which is lovely for me, but not so much natural light for showing the true color of linen. So coming up, I'll have lots of linen to showcase. But first things first, this one is actually not from Stitcher's Paradise. This one I got from a recommendation from a commenter, so thank you very much. And it's from Weyenberg, which is a German designer or design company. It's called We Love Dogs. But I mean, that is quite clearly a greyhound right there, and possibly some of the others. So it's all stitched in blues in the Quaker style. I think I will probably stitch it in sort of tan and golden and black colors to match my dogs, and then adjust the Quaker elements accordingly. So I'm very excited to do that one. Next, moving on to what I got from Stitcher's Paradise. I did buy more than this, and I'm mostly this time, as I said, going to focus on things that were new to me that I hadn't seen, so that I did buy lots of new things that I've had my eye on. And my orders from Needlework Expo just came in too, so like I said, I'm spreading it out. But one of the things I bought, which is not a chart, is this adorable set of blue flower pins from Puntini Puntini. Aren't those wonderful? I want to stick them in everything. So, all right, first up, this one is called Kind Friend, and it's exclusive to Stitcher's Paradise from Jeannette Douglas. It's got a bird of paradise there, and this flower is the bird of paradise if you don't happen to live where it grows. And then proper birds, you get the little buttons, you get all the threads. It's a really fun stitch. So that was a great one. This next one is called The Merry Month of May by the Workbasket. Look at that. And it's inspired in her notes by, I think, an old, well, there it is, this toll basket. And so she did this red deer in the May as though he were frolicking around the maypole, which I just love. I might even do that with all the called fors. Who knows? I mean, you know, I'm not going to commit, but I might. All right, next one is from Birds of a Feather. It's called Beware of Cats. I just love that. I might change it to be Pilsner colors, our cat, rather than black, but we'll see how I feel. And I actually got that look from him the other day when I got up and failed to feed him immediately. So that's pretty much the face he gave me. This next one is from Victoria Sampler called Fat Fat Cat. Isn't that great? I love it. These are just little ones, so it'll be so quick to do. So when I'm in the mood for Halloween stitching, I'm gonna be full up with options. All right, the last one that I got that I'm going to talk about today is called Common Ground from Jeannette, and it's actually an old pattern. I think it came out originally in 2002 and then was re-released in 2020. So as I talked about last time, things that happened decades ago. So this has a wonderful verse. It's called Common Ground, and the verse is, "We share with all who stitched before and those who follow after. Birds and flowers, peaceful hours, sunshine, tears, and laughter." And if that doesn't just encapsulate the feeling that we get when we stitch and stitch designs from previous stitchers or inspired by previous stitchers or intended for future stitchers, I don't know what does. So here in all its glory is the chart. Let's get a good view there. Now, the colors aren't necessarily, well, they're not my colors, but that's fine. I am prepared, fully prepared to be drunk with power and change everything. And I'm kind of thinking maybe a Liz Matthews kind of subdued, subtle, antique-y palette. We'll see how I feel, but it's a really fun chart. You've got animals in there, lots of good stuff. It does have beading and some embellishments on it, and it comes with the beads, the embellishments, and a little needle slide there that you get with the pack. I'm thinking I won't do the beads, not really my favorite thing, but I think I might use some specialty stitches in those areas, maybe some eyelets, maybe some of those stitches that form the little heart shape. So I'll have to pull up my Jeannette Douglas samples and see what amazing stitches she has recommended so we can do those. So that's a portion of my not insignificant stash enhancement from Stitcher's Paradise. It was such a wonderful shop visit. As I said, I hadn't been there before. It's a great shop to be able to visit. I had a wonderful time and the hours just flew by while we were in there. So thank you again to everyone who stopped and chatted with me there or helped me or was simply patient with me while I looked at everything in the store 3 times. So that was great. All right, on to the world around. This time it's the cinnamon teal duck, which is something I had not actually seen before I lived here next to a nice duck habitat. So it's a beautiful cinnamony brown color, hence the name, and looks kind of inconspicuous. We see them around with the mallard ducks. They're a little bit smaller, a little bit more shy, but see them flying just like the other ducks in and out of the marsh area here. But when they fly, they open up and you can see these beautiful blue-green feathers, and it's remarkable. They're so pretty. So it's a highlight when I get to see those on the walks. That's the cinnamon teal. It's a western duck in the United States. It goes across a lot of South America, but only the western United States. So if you happen to see one, just take a minute, enjoy the beautiful color. All right, on to questions. This is not a question, this is an answer from a commenter last time from Mary, and I had talked over the last couple episodes about the Heart's Ease Exemplar Works Beelieve that I was stitching on that beautiful bee fabric from the Primitive Hare, and Mary let me know that Teresa Baird, Heart's Ease Exemplar Works, had actually created an entire set around this design. and it's free on her website. So I'll put all the info there in the comments, but you can see how beautiful is that. You can get the little ruler and the little drum, little scissor keep, scissor fob. This pillow right here is the one that I did, but now I have extra linen and all these beautiful things. The only disappointment is that I had actually put all the floss away, and I didn't write down what I did. So either I go through and pick around and try and figure out what I used to stitch the original, or I just toss it out and get drunk with power and stitch a variety of different strawberry colors on these just as the spirit moves. So anyway, again, beautiful collection, free for her website. If you go over there, you can download it for yourself and enjoy. Best thing this week, Rye had a Sighthound playdate. So you'll see some pictures in the puppy video at the end. One of the local greyhound, well, she owns a Silk and Windhound, but very similar dogs, owners had set up, would you all like to do a Sighthound playdate? And so we went to a little park nearby, and we were one of the first to arrive. And then as cars were pulling up and greyhounds were getting out, especially one that was pretty much Rye's color, she was just enthralled. And it was lovely for her to be able to run around and not be the dog that everyone was chasing, but to be able to run after dogs, run or not run, that they would run without her. She had a ball. So we're hoping to do that every month from now on. And she gets totally worn out. It's wonderful, but it's just great for her to be around dogs that make her feel so comfortable. So that was fun. All right, giveaway. Last week, the giveaway for using the word green is this lovely, spring green fabric. And again, sorry, it's hard to see today because of the light. This is from number 12 Stitch Co. called Spring Fling, beautiful color. And you had to use the word green in your comment. The winner is GWiz65. What a great name. And so if you can get in touch with me, I'll get this off to you so you can enjoy it. Giveaway this week is going to be new charts. So because I have 3 new releases to show, I'm going to pick 3 winners. If you use the word sand in your comment, you'll be entered, and you can have any one of the 3 new charts, or if you'd rather have an old chart, I'll send you that instead. So let me know. Use the word sand any way you want to in your comments. And actually, it's going to be time to put in the new releases here. I don't have the models with me because they're on their way to keepsakes, but I'm going to stop for a minute and insert a video of each new model and then a proper photograph so you can see, because when I'm discussing the models, it can be hard to get a good look because I'm waving and pointing, and then we'll put in a picture afterwards. So I will see you in just a minute. New release number 1. This is called From Nature to My Needle. I have the magnificent Stephanie to thank for giving me the proper name. Briefly, it's a largish one. It's 235 by 235, and it's all DMC, stitched on brown sugar linen from Fiber on a Whim by Chris Canaday. Now to the good stuff. The idea for this was to celebrate some of the fibers and threads that we use so often and with so much appreciation. So I've got a number of animals. We've got an alpaca, an Angora rabbit, a llama, a cashmere goat, a regular sheep, and a silk moth. So all of those animals contribute fibers that we can use. On the bottom here I have cotton flowers, and up the sides flax flowers for making linen. And on the very top I've got mulberry branches with mulberry fruit, or sorry, mulberry tree branches, and the little cocoons from the silk moths. And inside here, number of stitching tools. The outside edge was inspired by the way that skeins of thread are twisted together. So that's the idea behind this one, just celebrating all of the wonderful fibers that we get to use and how fortunate we are. Now, I had originally considered incorporating specialty fibers from some of these various sources, but decided it would be too expensive because you'd have to have a white, from the Angora and then a separate white, but it would be a great opportunity if you wanted to try playing around with some specialty fibers. So enjoy. All right, new release number 2. This one is called Strawberry Bird. We'll get a closer view in there. And this is not a very big piece. It's 134 by 116. Lori was kind enough to stitch this for me, and it's on 40 count fennel seed linen from Color and Cotton. I also looked at gray sand linen from XJU and scout linen from Seraphim as options for this one. So if you're hunting around looking for something to stitch it on, those are two that I considered. It's inspired by cedar waxwings, those birds there on both corners, and because they love strawberries. So we've got berries, flowers, little urn, quick stitch, mostly DMC with a couple of overdyes just to show off the variegation in places like that. Okay, last new release. This one is called Saltwater Scrapbook. It's a project I did with Steph from Limdy Stitches, and the idea for this was folk art quilts, the way that you would have a particular square size and different people would stitch their quilt square. And so you get these combinations of all sorts of different styles and designs around a place or something that's personal to them. And so that's what started the ball rolling. So Steph and I have done a series of, in total, 9 quilt squares. I did 4 of them and she did 5, so that if you wanted to do essentially a 9-patch quilt, you could do that, but they're all the same size and they use the same threads, so you can mix and match. You can do them as individual ornaments, you could wrap them around a drum, you could do whatever you want with them. All right, so without further ado, I'll put in a picture at the end because these are a little hard to see because they're small. This is the first one. Our theme obviously was by the sea and the ocean, so we've got a mermaid with little tiny seahorses. I love to be by the sea, and a sand dollar. And we've got an octopus with a bucket and a sand shovel and a sand castle. Of course, a hat, because that's important. Next one, well, you know how I feel about ice cream. With the ice cream shop, the squirrel, again with her bucket and her ice cream cone, and the fox with his ice cream cone. And the last one, girl and her dog jumping off the dock, unimpressed seagull, because they're always unimpressed. And these are all stitched on Silver Mist linen from Fabrics by Stephanie and trimmed with mossy chenille from Lady Dot Creates. Steph has 5 wonderful designs as well, so if you're interested in those, you can contact your shop. All right, I hope you enjoyed those. Those are on their way to StitchCon. They're going to be there for both weekends of StitchCon if you're visiting Keepsakes, and then they will be at the Silver Needle in July. So if I see you there, you will also see the models there. Let's see. The last round of releases is now up on the website as a PDF download, and just one more thing I forgot to mention on the new charts. So if you want to have them, contact your shop. I'm also putting a little sticker plate in each one of the new releases, just as a thank you for buying it directly from the shop, a way to support them. So if you get one, you come with one of these. Let me know what you think, if you like it, if you don't care. Either way. All right, that's it for me. I think I was on speed motion because I'm so excited about having all this stuff to talk about. But it will be a little bit longer when I get the new releases videos in, and there's a short puppy video at the end, not like last year. But thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. Bye.